Good evening. This is the regular meeting of the Rialto City Council. Rialto City acting as a successor agency to the redevelopment agency, to the Rialto Housing Authority, and the Utility Authority. Madam City Clerk, can I get a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Carrie Sellers,
Present.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Present.
Councilmember Scott,
Present.
Councilmember Baca,
Present.
City Treasurer Correa,
Present.
City Attorney Bell, Eric Bell,
Present.
Interim City Manager Henry Garcia. And also let the record reflect that Mayor Robinson had an emergency. She did not attend closed session, and she will not be attending the regular session council for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Now if we can please stand up and join Councilmember Ed Scott while he Pledge of Allegiance, and then please stay standing for Pastor Henry Barton from the Greater Faith Grace Bible Church.
Please join me in the pledge to our flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, come before you tonight to thank you for this wonderful, dynamic City Council Rialto. We thank you for all they've done this past year, the goals, the vision they've accomplished and did. As now, Lord, as they close this year out and going forward, may they look back with satisfaction, knowing they did the work that they've been voted and elected to do, Father. We pray tonight that all this transpires tonight, all the agenda items be done in such a way that shows dignity, honor, respect, and guide them with wisdom and knowledge in all they do tonight. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
That brings us to our attorney's report. Eric Vale, can you please lead us?
I'd be happy to do that, Mayor Pro Tem. There were three primary items on the council's closed session for this evening. First, we started with a conference with legal counsel. Council was briefed by City Attorney's Office with regard to three items of existing litigation. Direction was given, but there's no reportable action. You also had a conference with your labor negotiators. You concluded that session, gave direction to the labor negotiators, but there was no additional reportable action. And then finally, you did have a session under public employee appointment. Council did have deliberations, but there's no reportable action on that item at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to presentations and proclamations. We have in memoriam for Elvis Glenn Brown. Councilman Trujillo's gonna give me a hand with this one.
Yeah. Is the family here? Well,
For Elvis Glenn Brown.
okay. Well, I just want to read this. He had his funeral this past, I believe it was yesterday, I believe. So I wanted to read this. It says, in memoriam, Elvis Glenn Brown, from July 3rd, 1936 to November 4th, 2023. And this resolution states, Alvin Glenn Brown was born on July 3rd, 1936 in Longview, Texas, to his parents Mabel Hall and Prentice Brown. He was the oldest child of 5 and the only son born of this union. Alvis attended schools in Longview and graduated from Longview Colored High School in 1953. On November 10, 1953, at the age of 17, Alvis enlisted in the United States Air Force in Dallas, Texas, and began his military career. Alvis served at the end of the Korean War and was stationed in Germany and France, spoke French fluently. He then met Althea Johnson in Charleston Air Force Base. They would later reconnect, and they were married in the home of Pastor Freeman, pastor of St. Mark's, MBC, in 1969. This union produced 3 children, daughters Sharon Renee and Yvette Una and one son, Nehemiah. He was always a hardworking man and always provided for his family. It was in his Rialto home of 47 years that Elvis would make his transition on Saturday afternoon, November 4th, 2023. And his family and friends surrounded him. He was predeceased by his parents, Mabel and Prentice, his daughter Sharon Renee Densler, his sister Dorothy Faye, paternal siblings Roy Brown, Jonathan Brown, Emma Jane Johnson, Darling Brown, Minnie Ramsor, and his grandson Nehemiah Godfrey. Left with so many precious memories are his loving and devoted wife of 54 years, Althea Brown. His children, Yvette Una Brown of Rialto, California, lovingly and devoted wife of 54 years. Althea Brown. His children, Yvette Una Brown of Rialto, California, and Nehemiah Godfrey of Charleston, South Carolina. We all love him, but we know that God loves him best. It's signed by the Mayor, Deborah Robertson, Mayor Pro Tem Andy Corrales, Council Members Ed Scott and Council Member Joe Baca, and myself, Council Member Rafael Trujillo. So we provide this memorial resolution in his memory. The couple was very active with the Rialto Black History Committee, who put on the Martin Luther King luncheons every year. So we wanted to make sure we recognized the life works of both of them, specifically for the life of Elvis Glenn Brown. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Trujillo. And that brings us to our next presentation, which is Fire Chief Park.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and public here with us tonight. This time of year can be rough on a lot of families, as the noticeable, loss of a loved one around the Christmas tree or around the kitchen table is very discernible and very noticeable. On the other side of that, there's a lot of miracles that happen throughout the year that we get to witness day in and day out in the field. In particular, when we get to deal with a saved life. And so tonight it's my honor to introduce our EMS coordinator, Kevin Dearden, and our medical director, Dr. Niki out of Arrowhead Regional Hospital, to talk about a recognition of excellence for pediatric care. Kevin?
Thank you, Chief Park, distinguished members of the City Council. I am Kevin Dearden. I am the EMS coordinator here for the Rialto Fire Department. I stand before you today with immense pride as we reflect on a transformative journey that began years ago within the Rialto Fire Department. Back then, we embarked on a mission to redefine how we provided care for cardiac arrest victims. And the outcome has been nothing short of extraordinary. Today, Rialto Fire stands not only nationally, but internationally recognized as a leader in innovation for adult cardiac arrest care. However, as we celebrated our successes in adult cardiac care, we recognized the need for further improvement on pediatric care. It was during this quest for excellence that we discovered the Hantevi Pediatric Resuscitation System. Dr. Peter Antevi, the founder of the Hantevi, recognized as one of the premier innovators in emergency pediatric care. This groundbreaking system has not only proven to be a game changer, but a beacon of hope for the littlest members of our community. The Hantevi system is a comprehensive and meticulously designed tool that empowers our responders with the knowledge and precision needed in critical situations involving pediatric patients. Its history is steeped in commitment to advancing emergency medical care, and its impact has been felt across the globe. But today I want to share a story that epitomizes the dedication of our Rialto Fire Department members. 5 exceptional individuals from our team, Captain Earl Meredith, Engineer Austin Miller, firefighter paramedics Taylor Zeitz and Colby Ketcherslide, along with EMT Jason Melton, utilized the Hantevi system to provide life-saving care for a child in need. Their swift and expert actions were not only noticed locally, but caught the attention of none other than Dr. Antevi, the visionary behind the Hantevi system. Dr. Antevi recognized the exceptional care provided by these individuals and chose to acknowledge their efforts personally. Today, these heroes will be honored with personalized letters signed by Dr. Antevi and a Hantevi challenge coin celebrating their efforts. I am pleased to announce that the letter and challenge coin will be presented to our remarkable crew members by none other than our esteemed medical director, Dr. Michael Nieke. This recognition will not only signifies the impact of the Enhanced Heavy system, but also serves as a testament to the unwavering commitment and skill our dedicated team members have. In closing, let us celebrate the progress we've made, the lives we've touched, and the commitment to excellence that defines the Rialto Fire Department. Together, we continue to push the boundaries of innovation and compassion, ensuring that every member of our community, regardless of age, receives the best possible care in their time of need. Thank you for your time, and now I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Michael Nieke in the presentation of our awards.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. My relationship with the City of Rialto started in 2008 with City Police Department with the current chief as a medical director for the SWAT team. And eventually we transitioned into the Inland Valley SWAT team that still combines the Rialto Police Department along with Fontana and Colton. However, my relationship with the fire department officially started in 2011 as medical director. And I could tell you that you have a premier agency in the country. I have no doubt that these are the elite. If you were to, in my background in military and other institutions, I could tell you, you have different crew. And these are your commandos in the field. These guys are trained to save life, and this is not the only occasion. In the past year, we have had multiple pediatric saved by this crew, by this department, by this city, because you have invested in this department. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the City of Rialto and the residents that are putting so much effort to bring technology and training and making a better department. With that, I'm honored to be here, and thank you again for your relentless support of this crew. My other home is obviously, for 18 years, I've been at Arrowhead Regional and serving the county under our Joe Baca and Joe Baca Jr., so I'm proud of being here and knowing you. I want to hand you guys, if you could please come here to get your challenge coin. And thank you so much for your support. Wonderful.
Yeah, just in closing, if any of the members have any questions for Dr. Nieke or EMS Corner, other than that, I'd like to really say thank you for the continued support. Dr. Nieke has really been a visionary for us, guiding us through the way, and with your support, like he mentioned, you know, we continue to kind of push the boundaries of what's available in an innovative EMS world. So thank you.
Thank you, Fire Chief. Councilman Baca?
I just have a comment. First of all, I want to congratulate you and congratulate the 5 individuals that received the medal tonight, but I also want to compliment the fire department today for taking immediate action on Sycamore, which is a block, or actually less than a block, on the other side of my home, acting for a fire that was in a garage at that immediate time. And it's not too far away from Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. that's also here in the audience. That you guys responded and were able to put the fire out before any additional damage that could have been done to all of the homes in the surrounding areas. So I want to thank the fire department. I want to thank the doctor for what we've done in terms of the emergency services that the fire department continues to do, and hopefully that we continue to always support the fire department, and not only in terms of what you're doing now, but in technology and moving forward in terms of the future, to make sure that we have all the equipment and we have the personnel and staff that can provide the service. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I just personally want to thank you guys for being, as was said already, the elite, the commandos. I'm very happy that we have such a great crew here. And I'm excited to always bring on new technologies. I'm always eager to find out what you guys bring to us, because I believe that with the technologies that we've been using now, we've been able to set ourselves apart here in the region. So again, congratulations and thank you.
I also wanted to say, thank you for all the work that you've all been doing in our community. I think our residents are, very fortunate to have a department that's very focused on developing their skills and knowledge and trying to do the best work that they can to help our residents. So I just wanted to thank you for your leadership with this department and for all those that are doing their best to kind of be cutting edge in our area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Trillo. Thank you. Thanks again, guys. Our next presentation is for Hero of the Night by the Ontario Ring. So we have, of course, our police department is no exception with regards to elite and commandos here in the city of Rialto. We're just blessed all around to be able to have these kind of dedicated, selfless workers that just continue to be the best here in the community and to support and protect our community. So it's a certificate of recognition to Captain Anthony Vega. In recognition of being awarded Hero of the Night by the Ontario Reign, the City of Rialto, along with members of the community, commend you for this accomplishment and extend our sincerest congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I was going to take a photo, but I want to say a couple quick things. First and foremost, thank you so much. But I have to acknowledge that God's been on my life from the beginning and even this career. For 27 years, I've wore a badge of public trust, and the things that my wife and only God can attest to that I've survived and been through and making a difference in communities has just been God's hand on my life. So I have to acknowledge that. And then I definitely want to say thank you to my family and my friends, the Rialto residents and community that I love. We raised our family here, for coming out and supporting this. It really means a lot to me. The council, thank you for coming out that night. It means a lot to me. I know it was cold, it was last minute. Council member Scott, thank you for your well wishes. I know if I would have given you more notice and you didn't have plans, you would have been there to support, but I appreciate the support and the well wishes. And Council Member Trujillo, I know you weren't feeling well and you still stuck it out, but it meant a lot to us. And I've received some awards over the year, and they all mean something special. This one was really unique and significant, and the reason why is because I subsequently found out that I was nominated by somebody from within the Rialto Police Department, and it's somebody who spent their entire career here that I've mentored and worked on developing for the future. And so it was really extra special for me to be recognized and nominated by somebody that I've poured a lot into, and so I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Okay, Councilmember Baca.
I also would like to congratulate Captain Anthony Vega. I also was present at the game, along with the mayor that was present at that time. So just wanted to say congratulations to you. I think you've done an outstanding job. You deserve the award, And I think we've got an excellent public safety unit with the police department. And we hopefully that we can continue to have that kind of a relationship and continue to keep our city safe. So thank you for being our hero, not only recognizing that day, but a hero every day of your life, because each and every one of you put yourselves on the line, and you are our heroes serving our public. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. With, as a side note, although he is our hero today, are you still working with the fire guys to unlock your car?
Oh, you're,
So even heroes leave their keys inside the car. So congratulations.
thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for bringing that up. Not only did I forget to mention the congressman and council member being present, thank you for being there the entire time, but I forgot to mention, yeah, we locked our keys in the car right before this. So the fire has to
Good
rescue
thing
me.
we have some good fire
and
guys here. So
get
give
back
it up
into
for the
our-
fire as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and that brings us to oral communication. Madam City Clerk, is there anyone that's here to speak for under oral communications? No.
No, I don't.
I'd like to, Supervisor Baca is here with a presentation also. I believe it's for Captain Vega as well. Sorry about that, Supervisor Baca.
No, no worries. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Carrizales. Thank you, Honorable Council, Madam City Clerk, Treasurer Carrillo, staff, and community. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. I want to wish you all a happy holiday. And I, too, want to congratulate all the recipients of the Hero Awards, all the great awards that went on. The city staff and your first responders are doing great things, so just want to say congratulations. I'm here to talk about item number 5. So tab 5 is an item that is brought before you, and just kind of tell you how the history of how it came about. So I sat down with Chief Park, and I asked his, look, you know, I gave him a price range. I said, what are some of your needs in the city? So one of the things he mentioned is that they needed a medium-sized truck to help with mutual response. Because one of the things that people don't realize is our fire department has many mutual response with our county partners, our county fire to the west in the city of Fontana, and then our county partners to the east with the city of San Bernardino. So what I'm here to do is just, I'll present a check, but before that, just give you a quick update on things. If you guys noticed, the Cactus Trail fencing has been complete, and we're looking at doing a phase 2 at some point in time to complete the flood channel and add more amenities. When we look at selling some property, also the other item that I wanted to talk about was the Can-Ams. I know that Chief Kling has got some money to purchase some Can-Ams, and I just wanted to thank all of you for the partnership that we had on the Easton and Cactus project and some of the street projects that we have. Those are great partnerships between the city of Rialto and county. But today we're here to present a check for $150,000. And this is very, very important for the city of Rialto to make sure that our first responders have the necessary tools to make sure that they can provide service for mutual aid. And your fire department here in Rialto does a great job. And I just want to thank Chief Park for coming to our County Board of Supervisors to talk about the Confire agreement. And I know it's in negotiations, but it's really going to be great for this county. We have great fire departments that are now going to take over many of the services. It was AMR. They're going to be phased out at some point in time, and we're looking forward to having that. So I want to thank Chief Park for his leadership. But today I know that you have an item subsequent later on item 5, but due to time constraints, I'm here to present a check to the city of Rialto for $150,000 to purchase a medium-sized truck for our fire department. So congratulations. So if I can bring all you up. Yeah. If I could bring Chief Park and the council up to take a photo.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, is there any other oral communications?
No.
Okay, that brings us to the consent calendar. Is there anybody that would like to abstain or would like any items pulled from the consent calendar?
Second.
I got a motion by Councilman Baca and a second by Councilmember Scott. And that brings us to tab 1. Tab 1 is a public hearing.
So there was no objections then?
No.
No objections?
No objections.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. This evening, I request that the City Council conduct a public hearing for the placement of liens for delinquent refuse collection accounts for the second quarter of 2023. On November 14th of 2023, the City Council approved the request to set a public hearing for this evening, December 12th, to review and consider the placement of liens related to delinquent refuse. Notices were mailed to the owners of the properties shown on Attachment 1 on November 20th of 2023. At this time, I would request that the City Council conduct the public hearing, take public testimony, and consider placement of liens against the delinquent properties identified on Exhibit A of the resolution, and adopt Resolution 8173, authorizing the filing of liens against the properties for delinquent refuse accounts with the San Bernardino Auditor Controller Recorder's Office. Well, this concludes my presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Madam City Clerk, do we have somebody that would like to speak on this tab?
No, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. Can I get a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Councilmember Scott and a second by Councilmember Baca. Any opposed? Hearing none, that brings us to any discussion about this tab?
Move to adopt Resolution 8173.
Second.
I got a motion by Councilmember Scott, a second by Councilmember Baca. Any opposition? Hearing none. Okay, can we get a roll call?
Public hearing?
Do we?
No, you don't need a roll call, but if you want me to do a roll call, I most certainly will, but it's not required.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like for me to do a roll call?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
That brings us to new business, tab 2.
I guess I'll do that item.
There we go. I knew someone would pop up.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, this item before you is to add a section to the municipal code relating to your committees. Right now, each of your committees has, under each section of the ordinance pertaining to them, a provision that allows them to set their own procedural rules. We've recommended that for terms of consistency that we delete all of those sections, add a general section to Chapter 2.16 of the Municipal Code that provides that committees will follow the council rules or any rules adopted by the council particular to that committee. Adoption of this would start that process. We'd do a first reading tonight, and then we will bring back a second reading at your first meeting in January. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Councilmember Scott.
Mr. Vell, just out of curiosity, once we approve this tonight, if we do approve it, what will be the process for educating the various commissions? Because I know a number of commissions have been operating much differently than the city council does, especially in reference to comments, length of time of comments, requiring individuals to give home addresses, which we don't require. So what will be the process for education?
Currently, I have my office developed a presentation that we will make to the Planning Commission, hopefully in January when the Planning Commission meets, and then we'll either circulate that presentation to each of the commissions, or if the council would like, I or a member of my staff can go and make a presentation to each one of the council members, or the city clerk may do so.
And I will also attend those meetings as well. I'll work with the city attorney.
Great.
Councilmember Trujillo?
No, I just wanted to also emphasize the importance of reaching out to our commissioners and for awareness sake, all the rules are in ordinance for conduct. And to do any of these rules, and I kind of went through them earlier, do they specifically align with the Brown Act? And those are the questions I had was, you know, we have our council rules, but are they also up to date with the Brown Act and other kind of moving kind of pieces that are going through the state?
Your council procedural rules are consistent with the Brown Act. They require themselves to be consistent with the Brown Act. The clerk and I have both joined in recommending that you revisit those rules and update them for a number of reasons other than legal consistency. I'm not aware that there are any specific rules that any commission has adopted. We looked into it, couldn't find any for the Planning Commission. And so when this ordinance is adopted, those committees will now follow your procedural rules until such time as you update them or adopt special ones.
Okay, thank you.
Great. What's the pleasure of the board?
We
Was
have
there anybody?
oral communication.
Oh, okay.
June Hayes.
June Hayes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. I am on the Utilities Commission, but I am speaking tonight as an individual, as attorneys in the past have told me I must do. I misunderstood the intent of this tab item, but decided after I was informed about what it was really about that I wanted to talk on it anyway. What I have to say is a little tangential to the point made, but I still want to make my point. I started being involved in the city in the early 1990s because there were some things that I didn't think were going well in the city, and I was eventually appointed to a commission. One of the things that I really appreciate about this city is that even though you don't always like what activists say or gadflies say or people say at this podium, this city has always been very responsive to allowing people to voice their opinion. The city has always been very involved in getting people involved. Democracy works best when you have more and more people actually involved. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard some rumors that that maybe some commissions are going to be disbanded, maybe some commissions are going to be combined. And I'm here to say I think that is opposed to the way this city has always worked in the past. If you have people, every commission other than Planning Commission is voluntary. I think it's important to get as much community involvement as possible so that you hear the voice of the people. I've also heard that you're considering term limits. And I don't think there's a reason for that. I really don't. And you don't have term limits. Why should you put that on the commissions? We serve at your pleasure. If you don't want a particular person on the commission, all you have to do is unappoint them. I don't know the procedure for it, but either not approve them next time or unappoint them at your leisure. There's no reason for term limits. So just because this topic came up, and again, I apologize that I misunderstood the intent of this thing, but I thought I came down here I want you to know I watch every council meeting. I don't come down here because they won't let me in until 6:30. And I think that's ridiculous, so I watch from home. I think the citizens, again, you represent each and every one of us. We need to be able to get in here and get settled in order to have a transparent spirit of the Brown Act meeting. And anything that interferes with that, as an activist citizen, I take offense at. Please don't undo the good that this city has done over a couple decades, at least to my knowledge now. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes, and thank you for your many years of service as a commissioner. What's the pleasure of the board? Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
No, I have no other,
Moved.
did someone move? Okay,
Second?
okay, now
I got a motion.
now it's time for,
No, I got a motion by Councilman Trujillo, second by Councilmember Scott. Madam City Clerk, can you give us a roll call, please?
yes, I'm going to read the ordinance into the record, and then following that, I will do a roll call. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Rialto, California, amending Chapter 2.16 of the Rialto Municipal Code by adding a new section, 2.16.090, providing for City Council adoption of Commissioners' Rules of Procedures, repealing Section 2.18.050, Section 2.22.030, and Section 2.60, and amending Section 2.68.060 to correct the title therefore, and that would be that would be ordinance 1689. And Councilmember Trujillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Scott,
Aye.
Councilmember Baca,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Karasalis.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to tab 3.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of council. The item before you is in regard to a current license agreement we have with Microsoft, which is set to expire December 31st, 2023. We request the City Council to approve a new 3-year enterprise agreement.
Move approval.
Second.
I got a motion by Councilmember Scott, a second by Councilmember Baca. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brings us to tab 4.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. The item before you is requesting the City Council to accept funding for Window 1 Mobility Project Voucher under the Clean Mobility Options Program in the amount of $493,707.48. Rodney Schmidt, our admin analyst for the department, will come up and give you the presentation on the staff report.
Mayor Pro Tem and council members, in December of 2022, the MPV funds that we recently received, there was an analysis that went through that said many people may not be able to fully fund their programs for those who received MPV voucher number 1 funds back in 2021. During that time, they asked for those who received grant funds to conduct a survey regarding what hardships they would face in their either rideshare, scooter programs or van share programs. During that time, we provided a number of information, including several issues that we were having with our own program, as well as things that we could incur in the future, including a number of issues facing us, such as the high rate of inflation and the unforeseen cost that the bike program would cost the city of Rialto. Several months later, they offered the city of Rialto a chance to apply for additional funds in the amount of $500,000 to help fund the program further to make sure it completes the life cycle up until 2026. In May, we asked council if we could apply for this program, and of course it was awarded to us back in October of this fiscal year in the total amount of $497,000. These funds are going to be used towards replacing some of the bikes that we have lost, also some of the marketing that we need to do to make sure the bike program does fully reach the 2026 goal, as well as a number of additional costs that were unforeseen during the original application back in 2018. If you guys have any questions regarding this program or any questions about the recent application, I'm glad to answer any of those for you.
Mr. Clerk, is there anyone that wants to speak on this topic?
No.
Councilmember Scott?
I have some questions, but probably not of you. More like Cindy, I think, Cynthia. And that's in relationship to the bicycles. Can you get a report for the city council on the status of that program, how successful it's been, how not successful it's been? And I'd like to have included in it thefts, damage to bikes, how much time has the Rialto Police Department had to spend in recovering or taking reports on vandalism or stolen bikes, and the amount of bikes that are left versus what originally we started out with. So a pretty comprehensive report on the situation of the bikes, how much they're getting used, and what kind of revenue the city has made off the bikes.
Absolutely, we'll get that report to you guys.
Thank you.
Councilman Trujillo?
Yeah, I also had some thoughts about that, and I think that he already asked the question, but I wanted to also ask, do you regularly survey any of the bike riders or the riders to find out what they're even using the bikes for?
If you don't mind, I could actually answer that question for you. I apologize. It's my day-to-day function. I'm a big fan of this bike program, so I want to make sure it's very successful for the city of Rialto. We do take constant surveys. We take also like the basic star rating to see how your rating was, how the bike felt, how it handled, how you felt about the cost, if the length of time was, as well as the locations worked for the functionality of the bike program. We do take those all the time, as also we have to report those to the state every 3 months.
Does it include like whether they're using it for recreation or if they're using it for
Those
running
questions-
errands or work?
Yeah, and those are very important to know. The state actually really requires that we ask those questions.
Okay.
The only issue we do have is these are not mandatory. So we often offer them, hey, we'll give you a free unlock if you're able to answer these 10 questions for us. And sometimes they're willing to, sometimes they're not. And that's a little bit of setback with the questionnaires.
Okay, thank you.
And I would just, you have your light on. Did you have some more comments, Councilmember Scott?
Yeah, I want to move approval.
I have some comments.
I'll second that one.
I'll take your motion. So, I believe that with this bike program, we need to have a really big outreach. I mean, I've been thinking about a program or an event that we need to do. So there's a lot of bike crews around here, bicycle crews. So what I wanted to do is an event where we collaborate with all of the bikes in the city, and we just have like a run, so that our residents can see that those bikes are for anybody to use, and just really spend some of that money on an outreach to have some kind of event where we do some type of ceremonial event for the bikes, so that the community can see the accessibility of the bikes, and that we kind of give it another fresh run and a fresh kind of like a grand opening of these bikes, because they're there, they're sitting there, people don't, if they don't know that they could just go up to it, grab it and use it. So I think a huge campaign with the exposure of these bikes and the ease on how to use them, I think that's what I'd like to spend some of this money and see if we can not put together a really good event, maybe sometime middle of the year in summer or something, so.
I just want to say I'm loving what you're saying, because that's exactly what the big plan was. When we launched in July, that was considered our soft launch, so we could test the water, see where people were renting them, regardless of the studies, to see how the city actually was going to respond or how they are responding. We tested that for the past 6 months, and now with these funds, we're going to take that and take it to the next level where it needs to go. The official launch was at the holiday parade, and we were super happy to get someone from the state who wanted to come out and say hey to everybody and talk about the funding that the city has right now in the bike program. Our next leap is early January. We're talking bigger outreach with a local partner and also working with the local library as well as other entities to try to connect and make sure we're connecting with everybody in the city, making sure they know this bike's here, it's going to last, and it's here for them.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Baca?
Yes, just a quick comment. I do appreciate Member Ed Scott asking the question to give us a report and status as to the progress of what it's done and its cost and its effectiveness. But I also want to ask the question in reference to where the bikes are currently located. Are we doing any kind of research to determine if we need to relocate them, do other avenues or other streets or other areas where they may be of use more so than strategically where I see some of them? I drive by there, I don't see anybody around there. And maybe we need to reassess and put these bikes where the public is going to use them a lot more than where they're currently located. It would be a lot more cost effective, and then also it would be in terms of the residents being able to utilize them. And even from work locations, you know, do we have some at Amazon? I don't know. There's quite a few people that work there that maybe want to take the bike to and from. We need to do an assessment to determine where they're at, and do we need to redirect where they're currently located to some other spots?
We're conducting constant studies on the locations. We are reevaluating some of them. We took off one of them due to the high theft, and we have relocated that to another district. I can say when this bike program started, we lost 13 bikes in the first month and a half, which was very shocking. We did receive about 4 of them back, but they were heavily damaged. We redirected some of our focus trying to lower the theft because, again, the big ultimate goal is to have these on the road for longer than a year, to have them up to at least 2026 so people could see them, use them, enjoy them, see how they function into their lives. And we can say now for the past 2 months, there hasn't been a single theft. So
Great.
that's thanks to reevaluating where they're located and trying to make better choices on where they should be.
Councilman Trujillo?
I have one more question. It's for the city clerk. I know every year you do the bike rodeo. Are you gonna bring back the bike rodeo to, maybe we could feature our bike sharing program more for that?
Yes, we are in talking, I'm trying to help do some outreach with Randy as well, but the bike program is made because that's Bike Month, so I'm just gonna partnership and just help with the outreach and get more people involved, so.
Thank you.
Great, so I had a motion by
And I seconded.
Councilmember Scott and a second by Councilmember Trujillo. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion, tab carries. That brings us to tab 5.
Move approval of tab 5.
I got a motion by Councilmember Scott and a second by the father, Councilmember Baca.
We got.
Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries. And that brings us to reports. But I would also, speaking of our heroes and all the great things that our fire department does here, I want to bring up Fire Chief Brian Parks to give us an update on something that happened here. So, Brian.
Oh, yes, sir, thank you. Appreciate the recognition of the quick work our folks did on that fire today, up off Sycamore near where you live. Yeah, that was a real quick work. Yesterday afternoon, some of you noticed smoke in the air or saw updates. There was a fire at the 500 block of North Linden. I was actually driving home from a meeting, and I was blown away to hear the heroism that I heard on the radio with a coordinated fire attack and rescue effort where our folks pulled an elderly disabled female from a house, a single-story house. She is recovering now in the burn unit at the local burn center. When we talk about local miracles, you know, we don't get to celebrate those success stories this time of year. A lot of times we talk about the tragedies, but hearing the heroic efforts on the radio, I had to stop my car. It was chilling to hear how coordinated it was, like, you know, a fine oil machine. So, you know, our folks didn't stick around for a victory lap this evening because they have to go do work. But I'll tell you, it's like being, you know, a proud parent sometimes when you hear that everything you trained for comes through and is that coordinated out there in the field. So, you know, our prayers and our thoughts go out to that family and, you know, for a speedy recovery of their grandma, their brother, their sister. And it's just, you know, one of those Christmas miracles that we, you know, get to enjoy at the end of the year. So I appreciate the follow-up. We're eagerly looking forward to getting her back home with her family where she belongs. So thank you.
Thank you for that update.
Yes, sir.
And that brings us to reports. No reports today? Okay, well, I don't see any lights.
You're first.
Councilman Trujillo.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, it was over the holidays, we just want to thank the fire department for coming out and supporting the turkey distribution that we were able to coordinate. So I wanted to thank the local 3688 for their support in doing that. But I also wanted to acknowledge this book that was kind of put on my the dais. They just came out with a brand new history of the Rialto Fire Department book, and great pictures and everything. But I wanted to kind of read just a little bit of the prayer that was here. It's great that you acknowledge a lot of your heroes, especially those that were fallen. And I just wanted to read it really quick. It says, "Last alarm, Captain Walter Murray, February 21st, 1970. Firefighter Douglas Stroop, June 20th, 1995. Engineer Johnny Thompson, January 21st, 1999. And Engineer Scott Schwingle, January 27, 2018. And they did a nice little memoir with the firefighters' prayer. So I just wanted to acknowledge the creativity and all the work that you guys did in putting this book together, and thank you guys for memorializing all the work that you guys do over the years and all the heroes that have been part of the department. So thank you so much for doing that. Also, just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We had a great holiday parade with Cynthia. Just wanted to thank, she always puts on the best events in our city, and this one was huge. It was, she had a couple of things going on. She had like the snow sledding in the back. She had the horses in the front with, I know our Mayor Pro Tem was kind of putting on his little horse show with.
I wonder who went down the slide, though.
Yeah, I took a little dip down the slide with my daughter.
Instagram?
On Instagram, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If it's on Instagram, it's true. No. There's just a lot of different activities, so I want to thank you for helping bring families together for the holidays. I think that was really nice to kind of see all that come together like that. And again, the families really enjoyed it. So again, everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Councilmember Scott.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I noticed Captain Adams quickly got out of that little group in the back of the room back there. I was kind of wondering why. Yeah. Good luck. Are you coming up to speak?
I was just going to address your question, sir.
Oh, okay.
Sitting in the corner as the fire department was being acknowledged and praised, they fully deserve it, but it was reminiscent of being a freshman in high school and having to move to a seat where you're not going to get in trouble or have to deal with the hijinks and the sophomoric attitude that
I think that was a wise decision on your part, too.
I didn't want my boss to see me participating.
I noticed your chief over here kind of looking back there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank our and one of my favorite department heads, the HR director, Director Shama Curran, for the great Christmas cookies that she brought to us tonight. The last council meeting, she brought us a wonderful chocolate cake. For the rest of you that know how to cook, just to kind of let you know that it shouldn't all be on Shama. You know, and if she happens to get a few things in her budget this year that you don't get, you're gonna know why. But thank you, Shama, for the great cookies. And tell your daughter thank you, because I think her daughter really made them. But I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. This is our last meeting of the year. And I know that Mr. Crowley back there is retiring. Did you want to come up and say something during your retirement, for your retirement? Sure. And we wish you the best of luck in retirement. I think you have a little party this Thursday, is it?
Yes, we do. The staff is throwing just a reception on Thursday at 4 o'clock here at City Hall for anybody that would like to attend. But I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve the city of Rialto. Rialto, I go back to Rialto when I first came over to West Valley Water District, and so Rialto's been a real dear in my heart and a big portion of my career, just understanding water, wastewater in the city of Rialto. And this has just been a great opportunity to work with you, the council, and all the council members in just helping to provide a service to the city that I think kind of goes unacknowledged sometimes, but most of the time everybody relies on it 100% of their day, every day. But I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I really enjoyed the last 7 years here working at the city of Rialto.
7 years, wow.
7 years.
Tom, it's, of course, the mayor and I have had the opportunity to work with you a little closer than the rest of the council, probably because we've sat on the water subcommittee with
Right.
you. And I want to tell you what a pleasure it's been to work with
Thank
you,
you
and you're going to
very
be
much.
you're going to be missed. But I'm sure we'll see you around every now and then, hopefully.
I'll still share my knowledge.
Great, and
Thank you.
appreciate it. But we want to wish
Thanks
you
for all your years of service.
yeah,
bet.
we want to wish you the best of luck and
Thank you.
and a healthy retirement.
Yes, that I hope.
And I had the honor to work with you twice at West Valley. And
Yes,
so
you did.
just thank you again for all that you do here in the city.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Baca.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. First of all, I want to thank Cynthia in reference to the holiday parade. I thought it was excellent. It was probably the most well-attended. I think I ran out of candies because I walked one side and just handed them out. I did not throw them out, handed them out. And there was quite a lot of people because even halfway through I ran out of candy, and I knew that somebody else had candy. They should have given it to me and my wife, because my wife was also participating. But thank you very much, Cynthia, for putting on an excellent holiday parade. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad y Prospero Año a todas las personas que están escuchando esta noche. And I just want to also state that I attended the ribbon cutting and this morning at IHOP. We now have an IHOP in our area. I want to thank Chief Klain and the officers that attended this morning, the ribbon cutting. So I think that's good for the city of Rialto and continuing to move it forward. And once again, I want to thank Captain Vega in receiving the award, because a lot of us were there this morning. And by the way, the mayor was also present at the ribbon cutting this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. So I guess the star of the night for events is Cynthia Alvarado. Big round of applause, please, because as was already stated, this was a very well-attended event, and I too looked at some parades from other cities, and They're not as well organized. They don't have free conchas. They don't have free champurrado. I'm not sure if that's why all the people were hanging, waiting around, but I had the pleasure to serve our community with free conchas and champurrado. For those of you that don't know, champurrado is like a hot chocolate. So Councilman Trujillo joined us there in the booth and had some champurrado for a minute. And
you brought the horses too, you bring them every year.
yeah, and so one of the things that, a lot of the community is commending our city, and I thank Cynthia again for starting to merge into that. Our community is very receptive of the cultures, the new cultures that we're bringing on, because this community is from their native country. These are some of the things that they're used to. So I'm glad that we are all on the same page, and we like to bring these types of events. And the people that were there dancing with the banda, they were there till the horses left, until the chocolate and conchas were done. So I think that kept everybody a little bit longer there. Sorry for all the mess that was created, but I think everyone really enjoyed it. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Les quiero desear a todos una feliz Navidad y un próspero año nuevo. Que todas sus metas y objetivos se les conviertan en realidad en este nuevo año de 2024. Gracias. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, here's what's up. Before I do what's going on in Rialto, I want to thank obviously all of our sister departments that came out and supported us the day of the event, and shout out to my staff because they did a fantastic job. So thank you, everybody. I hope you really, really did enjoy your time. There was a lot of people. It was really awesome to see. I normally get to come out the next day and bring out a couple sleds and let the community who's kind of driving around continue to do the snow hill, but unfortunately I was sick for a couple days right after, so hopefully next year. All right, here's what's going on in Rialto. This Thursday at the Senior Center, they'll be celebrating their senior Christmas social at the Grace Vargas Senior Center from 2 to 4 p.m. This Saturday, we'll have a park cleanup at Birdsall Park, Saturday the 16th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Enhancing Forward Action Toy Drive will be held at Bud Bender on December 18th from 1 to 4 p.m. The Teen Miss Laser Tag Pajama Party will be held at the Rialto Community Center on December 20th from 3 to 6 p.m. Farmers Market and a toy giveaway in collaboration with NSG will be happening December 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tiny Tots Christmas Caroling will be on December 22nd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. They will be coming to the Rialto Community Center, to the Civic Center, and also to the Senior Center. And then some save the dates for you. So our 24K New Year Senior Social at the Grace Vargas Senior Center will be held January 11th, 2024 from 2 to 4 p.m. And the Shoot Your Shot Senior Billiards Tournament will be held on January 27th at the Grace Vargas Senior Center from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Mr. Carrillo, you got anything for end of year? You're dressed very festive, always looking like sharp. Mr. Attorney?
I will just wish everybody a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, joyous Kwanzaa. I think Bodhi Day if you're Buddhist in middle of December. A special shout out to all the first responders here in the city and all the other staff who shows up on weekends, middle of the night to fix water mains and stuff like that, fill potholes or whatever. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Henry?
Merry Christmas to everyone. I know everyone is thinking about a happy Dallas Cowboy NFC championship.
Madam City Clerk?
Well, I'd like to say ditto to the city attorney for what? Wish everyone a happy holiday season, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and everybody else is Buddhist. And also, a treat for you for the toy giveaway that I'm co-sponsoring on the 20th. Come out and hear the police chief read a story. His two captains is going to read, and I'm going to have a Santa Claus there, and I have a couple of department heads are going to help me host 2,000 kids that we're going to give away toys. So
Great.
come out. I will be giving everybody an update on when you want to see Chief Clean read. His two captains, and the fire department is going to present me with a special treat as well at the toy giveaway. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm sorry. Well, he's going to read a Christmas story. We're not going to tell you. You have to come and hear him. It's a surprise for you. And so this is a toy giveaway that I co-sponsor. I've been doing it for the last 3 years. And also, I do want to thank the city department heads and the city employees to help sponsor 140 kids with enhanced foreign action, which I've been doing that for like 15 years along with Center for Healing. These are the kids that is throughout the city of Rialto. And I do want to say thanks to the city employees for helping me to be the secret Santa for 140 kids. That we're going to give those toys away on the 18th. If you want to come out to see that, that's good. And then if not, you're going to be here at the city for the 20th. Just come out at the farmer's market and
Great.
see my 2,000 kids.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk, and thank you for all the work you do all year and all the extra efforts you take to bless kids and our community. Thank you very much.
It's a whole teamwork with the city employees and department heads and you guys. So thank you for allowing me that special time to do all these things that we do to help our community continue to be prosper and strive. So say to all my mayor and all the elected officials, council and Mayor Pro Tem and Mr. Scott down there, city.
Okay.
We're gonna leave that one right there, so.
All right, so it looks like it's 7:38, so I promised the attorney 7:30. I'm off by 8 minutes, so. Well, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Are we? And I'll second that. Got a motion by Councilman Trujillo and a second by myself. Any opposition? Hearing none.
By who? You? Who?
We are adjourned.
Who was?
Thank you and happy holidays.